G'day guys, and welcome to another edition of the London Session Market Analysis videos. Today is the 18th of January, Thursday 18th of January. So pre-London guys, as always, I'll be looking at GJ, Gold, GU, possibly, and NAS for today. I think I'll stick with those four pairs. So without further ado, hope you all had a good week. Let's start with GJ and let's look at it in the weekly. Now yesterday, obviously at the back of the news, CPI release, the pound did move to the upside. GJ took made a big move to the upside. I did mention yesterday there's a high probability that we would pull up towards that 187.80 sort of level based off I think it was the daily and 4-hour time frame. But based on the weekly candle itself, currently forming a very strong bullish candle, high low, high to the previous. So what this suggests to me, and we do have still some traffic to clean traffic to the left, some potential to head up towards that 183.35 sort of level. So what this candle suggests to me is that any pullback within it, I'm looking to see where we could potentially form support in the minor timeframes, head back up and retest it towards the high of the current weekly candle. Looking at it daily, technically we are still bearish. We're closing in on that resistance. Again, like I mentioned all week long in the videos, what we've done from this support is we're creating a high lows, higher highs, higher lows. We are trending. I did mention it the other day. We begin to break above the previous weekly candle's high. Very high probability we would continue to see upside. So spot on with that. Previous daily candle closed a very strong bullish candle, probably likely going to mark in the fib, the 50%, to see where potentially we could pull back to, see if it does line up with any support or resistance, previous support and resistance on the minor time frame. If we begin to pop below it, start to form a resistance below it, I think there's a good chance we could pop back down towards that 186.20 sort of level. So we are technically bearish, but currently in an uptrend, 4-hour structure. So look at that 50% lines up with the support on the 4-hour, perfect. So I'm just going to mark that in and get rid of that horizontal. 4-hour structure is technically bullish. We're at a resistance low here to the left. Let's mark it in, guys. We've broken above it, so let's mark in the most recent resistance if that's the case, and we'll see what we've got above it. Starting to pop below the previous resistance here to the left. Above it, we've got a little bit of clean traffic by the looks of it, not a great deal. Very minimal margin. But we are trending to the upside. What we've done though is form support at this 4-hour resistance. So therefore that could provide potential catalyst to look to sell it once we pop below not only a 4-hour support, it's also a psychological round number, that 187 flat. So potential options for sellers I feel below that level. Just going to mark it in. Now let's go down to the 30-minute. So that structure is also bullish. So therefore the bias is to the upside. All right, I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, it's not, we don't really have any margin really above the highs, but upon continuation I still feel it could give us options to look for potential buys. Now look at this, perfect. So where this 50% of the previous daily candle lines up with is the structure flip on the M30. So as long as we pull back, respect the structure at that point there, look for my catalyst within price action at the support to look for my potential buys. So the catalyst being obviously engulfing candles, liquidity candles on which the downside are failing to close below, closing back above the support, or resistance to form, and as price begins to break away from that resistance, that could be your potential entry. So pretty easy today on GJ as far as the analysis. Buys above as long as the M30 remains bullish. Look, right now there's no real momentum, there's no volume. Potentially come London Open, if we pull back and reject the highs yet again, you could look to probably sell it from higher up. Wouldn't be forcing it just now. The cleaner sells definitely come below, and once the M30 flips structure bearish. Having said that, we've got a bit of minor support just here. So what might happen is pops below it, maybe tap into that level, pops back to retest the zone at 187 flat, rejects 187 flat, and you could be looking to enter potentially below support a little bit further to the left hand side, take it back down towards 185.90. Now as far as buys above upon continuation, again, it would make sense. I feel that if we do pop up again, as long as we have the strong catalyst, so really strong candle closure above, I just look for a tap in, maybe a limit order back of that zone, or buy upon continuation. I feel we should still continue to the upside. However, if it's just really choppy traffic and it makes a clean move up, then what you're simply doing is wait for it to pull back, form a support above the previous daily candle high, and then look to buy it. Now onto gold quickly, guys. Trying to just chop along a bit quicker. All right, so I'll delete a whole lot actually. Let's do this properly. Weekly, strong bearish. It is engulfing the previous candle, lower high, lower low as well. High probability any pullback be met by resistance. Let's see once we go down the time frames to what level we could potentially pull back to form that resistance. Daily structure is still bullish, but we've now closed below that support. So counter probabilities to the downside. Current candle is created upper wick. Let's marking the low of the previous the current candle and the low of the previous candles that could provide potential entry points. So we grab liquidity likely from the upside. That could be the daily candles high. Looks like a ready to flip bearish. So we are bullish, but with counter probabilities to the downside. Have some room for potential continuation to the downside. Let's mark in this whole level for our support. The 4-hour structure is technically bearish, so that adds confidence to look for potential sells. What I'm marking this level that we broke out of yesterday, reason being because we've not yet tapped into it, so that could be a potential level. Price pulls back to grab liquidity. If it is to pull back yet again before we potentially head back down. However, if it pops above it, that could provide potential options to look to buy if we pop above that support. So we'll see what it looks like on the M30. Structure on 4 hours bearish. Current candle is looking like it's about to close bearish engulfing. I feel there could be some really nice options below. Definitely below that previous daily candles low. Now onto the M30 structure. Yeah, so a little bit choppy just now. Better and safer options definitely going to be below that previous daily candles low. Running into some very clean traffic. Right now we're closing on that support. I probably avoid it just now, to be honest, below the current daily candles low. And further options will be on a pullback yet again. We've got minor resistance at this point here. Price does pull back. Yet again, reject that 2009 level. As long as around a high time volume, whether it be close to London Open or NY Open, and we get the right catalyst when price action at that point there, you could sell it. Otherwise, I mean, you've got this point here, which is current daily's high. Now, if we pop up again, reject that level, that could be potential sell options. So I'll put sells below. But if we pop up a little bit further to retest that 4-hour support from yesterday, that could also provide some potential sell options. So let me just illustrate that. So if we pop up, reject this 2013 50 sort of level, and we could look to sell from higher up, where it consolidates, maybe bounces off 2013 50 and 2012 and then starts pop below that range again. That could be a sell option. Now, as for the buys, obviously if we respect that previous daily candles low and we come back down to former support, so I'm just going to get rid of this arrow, tap in, form a bit of support. Again, I'd be more picky though with it at this point here, because it is in a downtrend at the moment. I wouldn't want to just buy it based off one candle. Likely want to see a little bit more than that, bit of structure form at these lows before we look for potential buys back up. Otherwise, further buy options, we pop back above 2015, that sort of level, into the range above the 4 hours support. That point there, I would also entertain potential buys. So I'm just going to put buys above and buys above the support. Better take a breath, guys. All right, who knew analyzing Forex was so consuming on your lungs? So anyway, let's get back to it. Looking at GU. All right, so the weekly forming bearish, pulling back though. So we're back above the previous weekly candles low. Still, just a minute, it could be just any pullbacks. Way the current candle is forming, seems so dark. We are so deep into the weekly. Could just form a resistance, head back down to minor time frames. Call it weak bearish on a weekly because it is pulling back. Daily structure is bullish, bouncing off that support. Look at that, long wick to the downside, closing back up. Strong bullish candle based off the news as well. Bit of a catalyst. We're marking the current and previous daily candles high, they pretty much line up. It's marking the current daily candles low. Let's see what we've got below it. 4 hour, obviously just consolidating. This candle's about to close, so I'm going off the assumption that we'll close back bearish and create that resistance. We've got support just here. We've got support a little lower down. We've got a bit more resistance. It's the wrong tool. One moment. A bit more resistance just here. All right. So the structure itself in the 4 hour is technically bearish. We've got the daily bullish, or is it? It is. Daily bullish, the weekly is bearish. 4 hour is bearish. Tapping into some previous support to left, I was to drag that across. Look at that, lines up perfectly. So if we do reject, close this 4 hour bearish, could provide options to look for potential sells. It comes down to the M30. The structure in the M30, it looks to be bullish. So therefore, the bias is neutral. I'm going to mark in support at the current daily candles low. Not a lot going on as far as volume right now. It's just consolidating. And it is quite choppy below the support. So I feel at this stage, it's just a matter of waiting for the volume to come in. For potential buys, I'd be looking for buys above the current daily candle high. What we've done within the current daily candle is we've pretty much created an equal height to the previous pullback form of support, or would have pulled back to form of support within it if we do pop back up towards the high. At that point there, creating some higher lows, higher highs, and it's likely we'll continue to the upside. We've got some pretty clean traffic to left, targeting 127.30 sort of level. So buys above. Right now it's just consolidating. The other option is come close to London Open. It's very choppy over here to the left. Still, whoops, apologies. Still could potentially look for the sell below it, but I'd be a bit more picky with it. Still going to be bullish, so therefore I would prefer to buy it. Bullish in the M30, I mean. So if we pop down towards 1.2650, grab some more liquidity around that psychological round number, just look for my catalyst with price action to potentially buy it back up. A lot cleaner traffic below this point here for the sells at 126.40, below that sort of level. At that point there, we'll likely kind of come back down to retest 126.10. And that is probably it for GU. Let's quickly look at NAS. Let's have a look at the beast. All right, top-down analysis on NAS. So the weekly still looks to look good. It's forming bearish, obviously, but it does still look to me that it could still flip. We've pulled back towards the 50% at previous weekly candle. We've so far formed a support at that level, and we're retracing a fair bit of the current candle, but we are forming bearish. Not going to mark anything just yet on the weekly. Daily, look at that previous daily candle was left a long wick to the downside. It's in a pretty tough area by the looks of it. Structure itself is bullish. Hard to know what to make of it based off counter probabilities. Long wick to the downside. It's going to be hard trading within that wick. Current daily, very little volume as to be expected. While our structure is still technically bearish anywhere below these lows, below these highs, sorry. So bearish, looking like we've pulled back, respected that resistance to the left. We've now come down to create a lower low, so looks like we're exhausting at this resistance just here. That could therefore mean we could look for potential options. It could be for sells. It looks like we'll likely have support in minor time frames around the highs, around this resistance. Just going to mark in that level to the upside, this level to the downside. Let's see, we've got the M30. So yeah, so at a resistance. All right. Structure in the M30 is also bearish. So this is perfect. So the bias is flipped to the downside, believe it or not. And we're up near resistance. Similar to GU though, it's a bit choppy below it. There's not a great deal we can do below it. However, what I would say is I'd mark in this level here, this support. There is a clean candle. Got a little bit more support, not too far below it. However, if we do begin to break out of this consolidation below 1670 by the looks of it, yep, then I feel that could give us options to sell it, but be patient with it. Wait for the catalyst, wait for the strong closure out of this consolidation to look for your potential entries. On the flip side, if we do begin to break above this consolidation, I'm going to leave this zone in. Reason being is because the M30 flip bullish above it on a closure above. Not only that, there's just very little margin. If we do just begin to pop out of this current consolidation, we're running into that resistance to the left. So I would say be patient and wait for the closures above that point there, which is around that 16,773.50. Look for obviously your closure above, tap in, continuation, and then got a little bit of resistance here to contend with, but also I think there's a good chance it will pop up towards 1680, 840 if we do begin to close above. Because currently within the micro trend, we are creating some higher lows, higher highs, and if we begin to flip the M30 structure, it's likely we will continue up towards that 16,840 sort of level. Further sell options below this support, if it just does make a clean move down, you can't get in below 1670. Obviously, we form support. You're looking to the left to see where the last level of support below the current level was, and it's 16,670.70. So for me, that would also provide some potential sell points. And last but not least, if it does pull back and we respect, I would say if we respect this level just here, around 16,630, then we're still technically creating all high lows, high highs will equal low at that point there. So if we do so, something like this, and start to pop up again, that could be a catalyst to buy it from a little bit lower down. I think that would be just about a wrap, guys. Hope it all makes sense. Please feel free to send me a message and let me know what you think of it. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment if you can as well. And I will catch you guys shortly. Cheers and bye for now.